Us
Hi, guys. All right. Are you ready for another episode of Dugout Talk?
always.
Let's
Okay,
do it.
so we can hear you. All right. Trey, how do you handle the games where there's like senior day? We just had senior day. How do you handle the recognition of the seniors and try to win the game at the same time?
Yeah, that's one of those real challenges of the job, and it's one of those that I try to address preseason in our preseason parent meeting, because I do want to recognize these guys for all the hard work and dedication, all the countless hours of not only work that they've put into their game, but the countless hours they've put into our program, whether it be our youth camps in June or working at swing time camps in the winter. I do want to make sure that those guys get the recognition they deserve. But I always say preseason, it's we're going to do it the best the job we can pregame, give them a ceremony that honors them and pays the respect that they deserve. And the last couple of years we've even been able to have a little festivity afterwards as well that again hopefully pays some tribute to their hard work and dedication. But when the umpire puts the ball in play, it's another ball game we got to win. In a perfect world, all those seniors roles come up in that day and they get a chance to shine on senior day. Um, but I would say that in any game, I want them to have their time to shine in every game. It's just not the way baseball plays out. Their role might not come up that day, and then they might not get a chance to be in the game. But we do want to give them the honor. We want them walking out the field, shaking hands, taking those beautiful pictures that Mary Hoffman takes for us. We want them to have all that. But as soon as the umpire says play ball, it's another ball game. We're strategizing, making sure we get the best best advantages we can every at bat, every defensive pitch, everything we got. We got to get another win.
Yeah, I understand that. Those kids do work hard and they do look forward to days like that. Um, very quickly here, the rain out of the Talawanda game. I know the scheduling is tight between now and tournament, so will that game be made up?
We are working on it. Coach Likens and I have talked. We talked again today, just briefly. We've only really got two-ish dates that we've got open between now and postseason, and theirs is kind of the same, and the dates don't line up right now. If we do get a chance to get together, we'll pick that game up where we left off, and hopefully keep doing what we were doing. But it's not looking promising with that, and of course the fact that they are also Division III, so there's a possibility we might line up in the postseason at some point as well. We don't want to kind of show our hand in a regular season game, then when we can really continue our season against them at another point in time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in previous years, I think you've had games pop up with other teams that weren't on the schedule just to get
Absolutely.
some games in.
Absolutely. And this time of year, it's notorious, and it's a little bit more rare at the varsity level. But there's with all the weather we've had down here this year, every single day that there's a Southwest Ohio Baseball Coaches Association, and we have our email database or whatever. I feel like every day, every other day, there's multiple emails going out saying, "Hey, we're looking for a game. Hey, we're looking for this. We're looking for that." Or and if we find something that matches up with our schedule, we'll jump at it. Because again, we just want to play games. We want to get all of our guys the most reps as possible so that we are prepared for everything. Come postseason, we can make a run.
And speaking of weather, we play in March, April, and May. And my favorite months are in September, October, and November, which is the same time Major League Baseball is being played. I don't foresee that will ever move, but what are your thoughts about a possibility of playing in the fall?
It's that's one of those things, and we joke about it all the time as baseball coaches. We get together in the fall as that Southwest Ohio group. We get together, and it's usually a Tuesday night. It's beautiful. It's 75, sunny, hasn't rained in days, and we're sitting there talking about how we only got to work with six guys that day. So we joke about it all the time, and man, it would be awesome to be able to do that because we'd get all 27 of our games in no problem here in Ohio. But it's just never going to happen. I think it's a real pie in the sky thing that I like to dream about because I think it would make my life a heck of a lot easier in terms of how much mud I drag into my house. But the way the revenue sports operate, in the Ohio football being the cash cow, right? For what it's called, for what it's worth, they're never going to move that, and we're not going to be able to compete with it. So I think we're going to be in the spring for the foreseeable future, and hopefully our beautiful new turf here in the next month kind of saves us from some of these headaches moving forward.
Well, I thought I'd give it a try.
You
Um,
Good effort,
got my
Mark.
vote.
Steve, do you have a question?
I got a couple actually. One I just thought of actually, and it gets back to what you said when we kind of started this one off, Coach, and that is the player recognition. So today, you guys had a special day. You were down at Great American Ballpark along with the other high school teams that were part of some of the earlier showcase games. We had a chance to recognize, especially Isaac Goldschmidt for the MVP that he earned in that game down at Xavier. How special was that for the team and for you guys to be able to be out in the field and take in one at Great American?
It was a great opportunity, great experience. Definitely just a great team outing, right? Just the chance to hang out with each other outside of a competitive environment. Just relax. Kind of got a chance to talk with some of the other teams. All of our guys who play with these other teams, guys in the summers, kind of commingle again in a non-competitive environment. It was a lot of fun, and again, getting a chance to see Isaac out on the field. He gets his commemorative MVP bat, which is awesome. It's really just an awesome event that Reds High School Showcase. Tom Gamble from In Game Sports puts it together. This is the 14th year, and so we're very fortunate to get a chance to participate. We actually get a chance to participate in it twice this year with that Fairfield game at Xavier, and then of course Wednesday night down at UC against St. X will be another Reds High School Showcase game. But it's an awesome event. They do an awesome job with it, and the guys really enjoy the opportunity to play in it because not only because of the awesome venues, but the amount of promotion that goes into it to get a bunch of fans out there. And then, of course, this Reds March to the Majors is what they call the event today, where we got to walk around the warning track pregame and see some of the big leaguers in the dugout prepping for their game and whatnot. It was a really cool thing to kind of get to see from their side, right? Like I just tailed behind it. I'm just there as a chaperone, but watching their eyes light up, watching how they kind of like, whoa, this grad, and watching their reaction, it was really cool experience and very grateful to be a part of it.
From a fan's experience too, that more than pays for itself. You get a voucher for Skyline and a voucher to the Reds game for $5. You can't get into Reds game for that, that cheap.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Hopefully we're an entertaining product too, so we can you get to double dip on that. Hopefully.
yes, yes. Okay. When I'm on a field, I never step on the foul lines. I'm very superstitious in that regard. Do you have any superstitions or rituals?
Yeah, well, yeah, and the players know I'm a bit of an odd bird, so I do a lot of things that are a little bit weird from the outside looking in, and I guess you can call them superstitious or ritualistic, and whether it's which sock I put on first, depending on our starting pitcher, or pouring my coffee in the morning. Thank goodness we're mostly starting righties this year. I'm not been spilled too much coffee, but the couple of little things, stepping on the lines, you're not going to see me doing that. That's for sure. I don't know if it works or not, but I'm not willing to find out. And the guys will make fun of me from time to time, and it's not just the foul lines that myself or Henry Etris lays down for us on Lancer Field. It's all of them. When I walk across that football field, I'm not tempting fate there. I don't know if that's necessarily superstitious or just a little crazy, but if it works, I'm in.
Just curious, do you recognize any players that have superstitions?
I don't know if they want me putting them on blast, but there's definitely a lot of fun had pregame with who they're playing catch with to warm up, who they're taking their pregame rolls with. Who they do have a couple weird handshakes going in and out that I'm not gonna rat anybody out on, and who's stretching who and who gets the chance to rub some mud on the ball pregame. There's definitely some guys that have their pregame duties. I don't know if it's superstitious or ritualistic or what it might be, but there's a couple things that happen pregame every day that I'm observant of, but I'm not going to call it out because maybe that's another superstition. I'm not going to label it.
Well, it's good that lives on.
Absolutely.
My next one for you, Coach. Might notice I'm wearing the Elmhurst hat today in recognition of my older son who just pitched his final game. We drove up to Iowa to see that over the weekend. But it got me thinking, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that some of our fans may or may not be aware of in terms of the role you play as a head coach and trying to help these guys get to the next level. Can you share a little bit about that from your perspective and the work that you do to try and set these guys up for a good fit to continue the career?
For sure. Yeah, we do a lot of that. And that's really one of the things that I love about this job. Is one of the reasons I got into coaching. I want guys to have some opportunities that, just like I did. This game's been really good to me, and I just want to pay it forward. And so we usually start, and it varies player by player. Some guys kind of have the ropes. We've had guys who've had their advisors or they've had siblings go through it and they kind of take it and run with it. And I'm there for support, however it may be. And there's some guys who are flying blind that we usually start with around sophomore year, kind of starting to have the conversation. The first couple of questions I always ask them is what they want to study, how far they want to go from home, and then where they kind of see themselves in terms of competition level, NCAA Division I, all the way down the list there. And then that's where we start having conversations about, where they probably do fit competition wise. And then start kind of trying to pick some universities that might be a good fit for them and blowing up those coaches' emails. With the idea being, our guys aren't necessarily in all the showcases. They're not doing a showcase once a month where they're going to be putting up these crazy numbers for everybody to be tweeting about day in and day out. We got a lot of guys that work all summer. We got a lot of guys who play their summer ball locally because it just makes more sense financially for them to stay close to home, to work, to spend their money on their education at LaSalle High School. And so I try to make sure that I steer our guys in the right direction to get them the best fit possible. And, sometimes that's a difficult conversation where, I had my heart set on UC where, maybe that's not going to be a good baseball fit for you or a baseball fit at all for you. So those are tough conversations at times, but I think a lot of the guys that start to latch onto that, we can start steering them in the direction of the right camps. That if we do have to spend our hard-earned money on something, we can get one. I got an invite to SEC camp, right? And maybe that's a cool camp. It might be a fun time, but you might get better eyes on you if you go to this camp in Cleveland type of deal, and have those conversations as well. And obviously, anytime any one of our LaSalle baseball players is emailing a baseball coach, I make sure they give them my cell phone number, my email address, all that kind of stuff, so that those coaches can reach out to me, and I can make sure I'm hyping up our guys in the right light. I do the same thing, every Sunday night, Monday morning, I go through, we're blessed here in Southwest Ohio. We got a ton of baseball programs, collegiate baseball programs at all different levels. I sit down there Sunday night, Monday morning, I look at their schedules, see who's coming into town, and I blow up their coaches too. Like, hey, I see you're playing so-and-so on Wednesday. We play Tuesday right up the street. Here's a couple guys I think you might be interested in. Come on out and check us out and give them all the information that they need. And sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. But I know we've gotten a couple guys some pretty good looks and at least some opportunities to at least visit based on those types of things. And again, having our guys who know what they want in a college program. And it's one of those, another conversation where it's, we could potentially, work you up to getting in a mid-major D1 where you either never ever see the field and you're a GPA booster for them, or, you're just getting your head bashed in for 4 years, or, do you want to go play day one and, maybe have a shot at a national title at D2 or D3. And so just other conversations with our guys that sometimes we get real far in, and other times, that they think they want to take it on their own. And I give them all the tools I can to help them be successful in that college search. But ultimately, right, it's making sure we find the right fit for our guys. I mean, I'm very, very confident, very proud in our seniors who are committed to play next year right now. I'm super proud of the guys from last year's class who are almost, I mean, all of those guys are contributing in some way, shape, or form. And Mark does a good job of highlighting all the last couple of years guys who are just succeeding and they found their fit and they're thriving. So that's really trying to find more situations like that where guys get to roll into a college campus. They're prepared physically, they're prepared mentally for the grind of college baseball, and they're in a position where they get to contribute and help that team win when they're done helping us win.
And
Well,
Steve,
that's great. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
I just want to congratulate Charlie on his career there at
Absolutely.
Elmhurst. I was really happy for him, and I hope he had a great experience there.
Oh, he loved it, and again was set up really well. The program at LaSalle was huge for him. He enjoyed his time here, and it really set him up great. But I love that you shared that perspective, Coach, and how that process works, because it's not something that's out there public, as you mentioned, for a variety of reasons. You don't always televise those coaches being out there scouting. It can get in the heads of a player, and mentally they could make more mistakes than they would be doing otherwise, with that added pressure that works for some, maybe not others. But there's also this stigma. Everybody wants to play D1 ball, and giving them the harsh reality that you might be able to play for a local UC or Vanderbilt or some of these big programs, but you may not see the playing time for several years, if at all, where you can go D2 or D3. And even at those levels, people don't recognize it's extremely competitive and good baseball. And that's not even a guarantee that you're getting playing time per se. But to have those conversations and the time you invest in the program, that you invest in the players, the all behind scenes calls, I really appreciate you sharing all that, because most people just don't understand that process. And it's good that that they know that that's what you're doing for them.
Well, it is one of those things is that baseball is in a weird spot now. Number one, our seasons are the same, right? So these college coaches are playing, sometimes 4, 5, 6 games a week, the same time we are. So getting eyes on players in the high school season is tough for them. But then also, the landscape of college baseball where the roster limits, scholarships, and the transfer portal and all this different stuff. It's a scary world out there. And so just trying to be some guidance for guys that want to continue to play is something that I take very seriously. And I wear that hat very proudly, because I think we're doing a good job of getting guys good fits, but not sacrificing anything of what we're doing. We're putting out a good product, and by good product, that's I don't want it to sound inhumane, because we're putting great human beings on college rosters that can contribute and help guys win and help college teams win ball games right away. And I think that goes hand in hand in the sense of, you can be a good ball player, but if you're not a good human, if you're not a good man, these guys they're not going to put up with it, because there's 6 other guys ready to take your spot right away. And so I think that's one of the things that our Lancers are getting. And then when we're putting out a product of graduates of the class of whatever of LaSalle, I think a lot of these programs, especially locally, are starting to realize, wait a minute, that there's something good about 3091 North Bend Road that we might want to get involved with as well.
Steve, on a lighter side here, at first glance, I thought you were wearing an elder hat, but
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
It
Yeah.
does look a little purple in the light, but I
Uh,
knew what it was. I knew the events. So
yeah, I caught on to it, but
Thank you for saying that, for those listeners that may say, "Oh, we've got a traitor in our midst." That is definitely not the case.
Maybe we should have an all GCL panel here. But speaking of color, we recently played Fairfield, and my favorite color is red. So it was pretty cool for me to see this entire field of red players, Fairfield and LaSalle. Um, how's it determined what uniforms are worn for the games?
For us, we always wear gray on the road. So those gray pinstripes will be our jerseys when we're the away team. As for home games, we have two choices. We got the reds or the black on white, and we traditionally leave that up to either A, the starting pitcher, or B, the seniors. So a lot of times our starting pitcher is a senior. I'll let him pick. If our starting pitcher is a junior, I'll give him an opinion, but I'll usually defer to the seniors on that one, and make sure those guys get to wear what they want to wear out there. But I think our guys will tell you we look sharp in both of those options. So it's really a coin flip, and I try to sway them one way or another based on what our week looked like, so that we're trying to save some laundry and save some headaches at home if we can.
Well, I
A lot
do
of the
like
parents
our
appreciate that.
uniforms. We have good options. Um, I like to do my research on baseball, and I come across that you are an infielder for the Meridians of the Cincinnati Adult Baseball League. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your baseball background?
You've definitely done your digging on that one. Yeah, so the Meridians is one of those things. So I grew up not from Cincinnati. I'm from Crown Point, Indiana, which is about 45 minutes outside of Chicago. Where play football, baseball there. It's a small town where I got to play under Coach Steve Strayer, who Indiana Baseball Hall of Famer. He's still there. My brother coaches under him now. Just awesome baseball mind. And that took me to Dayton, where I say I was on the team. I don't say I played there. I was basically a student manager there. Had a lot of bullpen duties, had a lot of batting practice duties. Never had a jersey, never had a number. Only traveled a couple times, like stuff like that. But learned a lot through that. And after my freshman year at Dayton, spent a little too much time at the ballpark. Grades weren't where they were supposed to be, so Dad told me either I got to come home or figure something out. So I had to hang him up at Dayton that year and jumped right into coaching, and really fell in love with it. So I kind of bounced around, went from Trotwood Madison High School to Lakota East High School. When I graduated and moved to Cincinnati, went to Lakota East High School, got to coach under Ray Hamilton, who's Ohio Baseball Hall of Famer. Learned a lot there about a lot of things. I got to coach his twins, so he taught me a lot. I got a chance to be real hands on there. Spent a couple years at McNick, and then that brought me to LaSalle under Roosevelt Barnes, and had another incredible mentor to kind of learn the coaching side of things. But one of the things that was awesome about Dayton was just the community, and I know a lot of people will give me some flack for that because they've called it a cult because of that. But Dayton was awesome for me in making some friends. I was 4 hours from home without knowing a soul, and I still have my best friends in the world I met there. So when I moved to Cincinnati, it was a little bit tough, and the only thing I've ever known is baseball. And so I found an adult baseball league, and the Meridians took me in. They do wear blue, which I'm still trying to talk them out of. But it's a great group of guys who just love baseball. And don't go pull up the stats on that website, please. It's not been pretty the last couple of years. I've spent too much time coaching, not enough time working on my swing. But it's a lot of fun, just a couple of times a week. And again, I haven't been out there yet this year, just too busy with the Lancers, and that's my primary focus. That's my life right now is LaSalle baseball. But when the season ends, there's nothing like a couple days a week just getting out there with a bunch of guys who just love playing baseball. No rational explanation as to why I changed my whole weekend around. I dragged my kids to Saturday night mass so I can go play baseball at 7 or at 9:30 on a Sunday morning. There's no real explanation for that, other than it's fun. It's a nice little release. It's a nice little relaxing section of the week where I get to turn everything off and just get to be a kid for a couple hours. Get to play with some awesome dudes who our JV coach Chris Works. He played with us on the Meridians last year as well, so that's kind of another fun connection for us. So we get to hang out a little bit there as well. But it's just fun to play baseball, and I hope I carry that love for the game into our guys. This wouldn't be a job you can do if you didn't love it, and I love it so much. I still drag my old behind out of bed on Sunday mornings and go try and do my best. So it's fun. Baseball is awesome, and I just hope I'm doing a good job passing on a love for the game because it's an awesome game. If you treat it right, it'll treat you right too.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoy it. And LaSalle, I feel very blessed that we have you as our head coach.
I appreciate you saying that.
You
Steve,
know what I heard in that, Mark?
I'm
I
sorry.
heard maybe we take the broadcast show on the road.
I,
I can't say it's good baseball, but we have a good time.
Oh, that's good stuff.
well, do you have anything else, Steve?
One real quick follow-up, Coach. So we spent a little bit of time talking about recruiting and the work that you do. When you do have a college coach that decides he's going to come out and watch a player or two or three or the entire team, how do you handle that as a coach? Do you let the guys know? Do they kind of figure it out on their own? Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
I, the way I've operated on that one, I learned very, very directly from Roosevelt Barnes, and it goes back to really our first year coaching at LaSalle, and Devin Taylor was there, and it was a little bit different because those were the pro scouts. But he would say, "Oh, there's the so and so scout," and I would say, "Well, you going to tell him?" And he would look down the line and say, "Nah, I'm not going to tell him today," and kind of get a read on the demeanor, and get a read on the conversations that have been had previously. And so, based on my conversations with our guys about their recruiting process, about what they want, and then just knowing who they are as people, oh, this is the school he really wants to go to. He's coming today. Is that going to change the way he plays? If that's going to make him nervous, if that's going to change his demeanor at all, I'm not telling him, and I'm probably telling the scout to go stand behind the concession stand so nobody can see him. But if it's a guy who is calm, cool, collected, and is just looking for an opportunity, I'll pregame just say, "Hey, see that guy over there? He wants to see you play ball today. Be you." And kind of just making sure it's a person by person, it's a day by day basis. But those are all things that I got to have my thumb on as a head coach, and understanding how our guys tick, and making sure that I'm putting them in the best position to succeed, whether that's in front of a scout or in front of our friends and families just trying to win a ball game.
Perspective. Thanks for sharing that.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. So I thank both of you for your time. I enjoy working with both of you immensely. And live Jesus in your heart.
Forever.
Oh,
Go Lancers.
Go Lancers.
all answers.